G'day everyone, Artist Wayne here and welcome to the magnificent Watagan State Forest of New South Wales, Australia. This dirt bike riding paradise is the natural habitat and home to the mighty Yamaha Tenere 700 rider. So join me, Artist Wayne, on a journey of discovery as I discover my Tenere 700 gets heavier every time I drop it and have to lift it back up. And it all starts now. Today I was meeting up with not one but two Timo T7s, you know, the CF Moto 450 Mini Ts. This morning I rode to Frog Hollow in the Watagan State Forest to join Nicky-P and that giant mullet with a man attached to it, Damo. And the three of us headed into the wild and wet Watagan State Forest of New South Wales, Australia. After, I might add, huge amounts of rain through the week, naturally making conditions very tricky and treacherous for us adventure riders, specifically me. And you might remember in the last video that I had a very annoying knocking sound coming from my motorcycle, and I couldn't for the life of me work out what it was. Well, as soon as I arrived to meet the boys, Nicky-P could hear the noise and realised it was my Cush Drive hub bearing. So now I knew what it was. Hopefully it didn't fail on today's ride and I could make it home and organise a replacement. But would this issue cause me to fall off my bike more than usual? Absolutely. I mean, I'd hate to suggest it was due to lack of talent. And as Nicky-P struggled a little on his Mini T with an exhaust that now sounds like a World War II fighter plane, I was ready and waiting to flex the muscles of my mighty Tenere 700 and show these little Mini Ts what the big boys can do. But my expectation was vastly different to what transpired.
I fell over.
And thus began today's ordeal of us having to lift this 200 kilogram bike up all bloody day.
The exhaust full of water. Not going to get a run up on that.
Extricating my fat T7 from this bog hole was proving to be harder than expected. So Nicky-P and I put the exercise in the too hard basket and set off to see how Damo was faring. Alright, back to the hard job. This was now a three-man exercise.
Ready? Ready?
Well, you know what they say, onward and upward. We'd only been riding for 5 minutes and already we have had a major workout.
Got a good vantage point here. Alright, this is going to look brilliant. Wild wet Watagans. Nicky-P!
I have a little confession to make here. I was glad Damien was having a wee bit of trouble.
It's slightly different to a enduro bike on it.
Oh yeah.
I was having a hard enough time of it already, and I certainly didn't want to be the only one. We would be riding through some wild and wet tracks today, and I was already knackered. There's always a certain sense of apprehension when riding with guys on lighter bikes. I was trying desperately not to let my lack of talent expose itself too early on today's ride. I mean, I wasn't doing a good job so far, but now it was time to roll up my sleeves, tighten my sphincter, and get myself back in the game, because we haven't even hit the hard tracks yet. I was really having a shocker today, my fellow adventure riders. I mean, I've ridden this track so many times before, and today I was dropping my bike in the most ridiculous of places. Could I blame it on my rear bearing? Whatever was going on, continually lifting a 200 kilogram bike really tires one out. Naturally, the more tired I became, the more mistakes I'd make. After riding approximately 2 kilometres, 3 if I'm being generous, Nicky-P had a problem with his mini-T. His cooling fan had stopped working and his Chinese chariot was overheating. Great for me because I could have a bloody rest.
It was working then.
Was it?
I think so.
Won't work if it's turned off and you'll hear it. Hey?
Should be running.
Turn it
now.
off and it should run. Running.
There you go.
It was jammed up with mud or something.
Fantastic! The Chinese chariot was all sorted. And now Nicky-P could continue kicking goals today. We were now riding greasy hill climbs that I, for one, didn't want to do, but Nicky-P insisted. Of course, on these greasy hill climbs, well, I continued to struggle. But so too did Damien. Time to give the greasy hill climbs away and enter the jungle. We don't always have a plan when we ride, and today was no exception. We were just waiting for Nicky-P to complain that he was getting hungry, and we'd need to find somewhere for lunch. But for now, there was still plenty of time for me to crash my bike.
Plastic. This is my bark buster. Both of my bark busters are broken. I just.
Deadlifts you done today?
Hey?
How many deadlifts you done?
Oh, this will be like the 6th. Yeah, I'll stay there, I'll do it. Just psyching myself up. Oh, me. That's heavy. You ready? 1, 2.
Yes, my T7 now weighed 300 kilograms, but now we could ride, and I would do my best to stay upright from here on in. After finishing that little hill climb, I needed to stop for some minor adjustments. One cannot ram one's bike into a tree without repairs being needed, and in this case, I had to straighten my steering. So now we could continue. Plus, we now had a plan for lunch. Our plan was to cut across the Watagan State Forest and make our way over to Laguna. Now, executing a plan like that should have been easy, but unfortunately someone would get their bike bogged, not once, but twice. I'm not saying who, simply because I don't wish to incriminate myself. Now my mate Mad Mal the bin chicken always says, if you're leading the ride and you f up, it's not your fault. So I'm using that excuse right here and right now. I didn't even bother trying to throttle out of here because I felt my Yamaha Tenere 700 stick like glue. It was time to get the strap out, because I was pretty hopeful that we'd be able to pull this bike back out the way it came.
One, two.
Well, if we couldn't go back, maybe we could go forward.
This is what happens when you ride with Chinese chariots.
That's intimidating, is it?
No. I'll just use Mal's excuse. Well, when you're leading, it's not your fault. Ready?
Yep.
Holy shit!
You might have to rock it side to side or something first.
Oh yeah, that's loose. I reckon
That should move now.
But it didn't. No matter what Nicky-P, Damo and I did, we couldn't budge this bloody Yamaha Tenere 700. We pushed it, we pulled it, we tried lifting it. Hell, we even tried using the force, telepathy and wishful thinking. Could we move it? No, we couldn't. We were there for that bloody long that some of us started to go around the bend. But in the end it was I, a self-proclaimed genius with an engineering mind, who came up with the solution to get my fat Yamaha Tenere 700 out of this fucking bog hole. And I did it with what was available, a simple tree log. Something that only an alpha male could come up with. We used it as a pivot or a fulcrum or some such thing to get my Tenere 700 free from the clutches of this f***ing Watagan State Forest glue like mud. It only took an hour, well maybe a little more, for us three to do the impossible. Yes, today Nicky-P, Damo and I could rest easy and feel proud knowing that we had overcome insurmountable odds and achieved what seemed unattainable. Perhaps in years to come they'll sing songs about our exploits around the campfire. Now we were free to make our way across the Watagan State Forest so we could finally ride to Laguna to satisfy Nicky-P's lunchtime food cravings. And I managed to get my Yamaha Tenere 700 bogged one last time.
The wild and wet Watagans, Tenere in its natural habitat.
Before finally arriving in Laguna for our well-earned late lunch. I'm Artist Wayne Dowsend and thanks for watching everyone.